over a year ago, all the way back in December 2017, we did a video on the 7 most underpaid players in world football. Naturally, the video drew some ire since elite level footballers are all very well paid individuals, despite our rather large disclaimer in the introduction that this isn't some kind of charity appeal or sympathy seeking on the part of the players. We all know that top level footballers earn a lot of money, but it's still possible for some to be underpaid in relative terms in comparison to their peers. Imagine a multi-billion dollar company has 3 directors who are all equally capable. 2 earn £80 million a year, whilst the other earns £300,000. The one on $300,000 a year isn't going to struggle to put food on the table, but is still underpaid in relative terms. I hope that clears that up. Anyhow, today we wanted to do an updated version for 2019, and I think the 7 is entirely different, maybe with the exception of one player. Here are our 7 most underpaid footballers. Piotr Zielinski, £35,000 a week. Kicking off our underpaid players 7 is actually the man who ended our list of the best footballer whose surnames start with every letter in the alphabet video, Piotr Zielinski. As we said then, and shall repeat now, Zielinski is a really gifted central midfielder who is skillful on the ball and incisive in the pass. He has spent his entire professional career in Italy, going from strength to strength at Udinese, then Empoli, and for the last 2.5 seasons at Napoli. Now one of the first names on Carlo Ancelotti's team sheet, Zielinski's pay packet doesn't really seem to reflect that, rumoured to be on just over £35,000 a week. Compare that to teammates like Fauzi Gulam, supposedly on more than £76,000 a week, and Arkadiusz Milik on reported £80,000 a week, and that seems a little harsh. Napoli reportedly tried to tie up Zielinski on a new deal back in October, but it would seem nothing came of it, and the 24-year-old is currently being linked with the move to Tottenham Hotspur. Benjamin Pavard, £21,000 a week. A World Cup winner who Didier Deschamps apparently selected due to his greater defensive solidity than France's other options at right back, Benjamin Pavard ironically ended up scoring one of the goals of the tournament against Argentina. That very much isn't a regular part of the Frenchman's game, given that he has played more football at centre-back than right-back during his time in the Bundesliga. A regular fixture at Stuttgart since helping the club to promotion from Germany's second tier in 2017, Pavard has been heavily linked with a move to Bayern Munich this January. A move of that magnitude would probably see Pavard's salary triple, since he is reported to be on less than £21,000 a week with the Bundesliga strugglers right now. Pavard is still young, aged 22, but that salary seems a little miserly, seen as though Stuttgart have players on almost quadruple that, and even defenders on well over double. Compare it to someone of similar ability, like Victor Lindelof at Manchester United, who is said to earn some £120,000 a week, and Pavard appears to be getting even more shortchanged. PACO ALCACER, £69,000 a week. A player who we've talked about a few times on the channel this season, PACO ALCACER has been an absolute revelation since signing for Borussia Dortmund. He has scored 12 goals from 11 games for Dortmund in the Bundesliga so far this term, which makes him the division's joint top scorer, despite having played only 502 minutes of football. That's a goal every 42 minutes, which is quite frankly absurd. When you consider that Lionel Messi has a goal every 83 minutes, Cristiano Ronaldo a goal every 117 minutes, and Mohamed Salah a goal every 132 minutes in their respective leagues this season, Alcacer's record seems all the more impressive. Borussia Dortmund have wasted no time tying the former Barcelona man down on a permanent deal, and yet his reported salary of just £69,000 a week seems somewhat low. Franco Di Santo earns more than that, and he scored 5 goals in 71 Bundesliga appearances for Schalke, as does Breel Embolo, who has scored 7 in 37. Away from Germany, the figures become even more laughable, with reports suggesting both Wilfried Bony and Andy Carroll pick up £90,000 a week, and Graziano Pella earns more than £200,000. Maybe Alcacer needs a new agent. Christian Eriksen, £75,000 a week. Tottenham were the only team to have multiple players in our previous 7 on this topic, but they've only one included today. Christian Eriksen is the highest paid player in our 7, but he's also the best. Eriksen's current deal was signed back in October 2016 and is set to run until the summer of 2020. It's no wonder that Tottenham are so keen to tie the Danish international down on something a little more long term then. Eriksen is a wonderful footballer with great technique, a knack of scoring important goals and a terrific work rate. replacing him would cost Spurs a fortune in the current market, and ironically, there have been suggestions that their interest in Zielinski is a contingency plan in case of Eriksen's departure. Certainly, if the former Ajax man was to leave North London for one of Europe's giants, he could expect to time his salary by 3 overnight. Personally, we'd love to see him stick around at Tottenham along with Mauricio Pochettino's other star men, add a little bit of depth in midfield and attack, and make a real go of things moving into their new ground. CASEMIRO, £43,000 a week. The only player, I believe, who featured in both our 2017 video and this video today, CASEMIRO's contract situation is unusual to say the least. Having been a regular in the Los Blancos starting 11 for 4 years now, CASEMIRO is an integral part of Zinedine Zidane's 3 consecutive Champions League titles. The muscular defensive midfielder acts as a screen and as a destroyer in the Real midfield, and has done so to great effect for a number of years now. He signed a 6-year contract extension back in 2015, meaning he still has 2.5 years left on his current deal. But given the way in which his importance at the Bernabeu has changed in that time, no one seemed quite sure why the club haven't offered him vastly improved terms on a longer term deal. CASEMIRO himself must be a little perplexed to be earning less than Aston Villa midfielder Mile Jedinak, less than a third of what John Obi Mikel and Jordan Henderson earn, and exactly 20% of what his counterpart at Barcelona is reported to earn. Contract talks were rife in 2017, but things have all gone very quiet recently, so it could be a situation worth keeping an eye on. Thorgan Hazard, £28,000 a week. Thorgan Hazard has long been highly thought of, particularly in his native Belgium, where he made a really big impression back in the 2013-14 season. But this looks to be the season in which he will truly emerge from brother Eden's shadow in a global sense. Hazard has scored 9 goals and made 6 assists in 17 Bundesliga games so far this season, which you don't need me to tell you is close to either scoring or creating a goal a game. Primarily a left winger, Thorgan is really versatile, creative and good on the ball. Now a regular fixture in the Belgian national team, Hazard hasn't signed a new deal since joining Borussia Mönchengladbach in 2015. That means his salary is more reflective of a somewhat untested young player than is of one who is one of the most dangerous wide men or attacking midfielders in the Bundesliga. It also means that it is set to run out in the summer of 2020, and the vultures are already circling around Borussia Park. Liverpool are the club who have been linked most heavily, with a price range of £26 to £31 million, but Chelsea supposedly have a buyback clause and they could do a lot worse than bringing Thorgan back to Stamford Bridge. The honourable mentions. There are plenty of players who made our shortlist but missed out on the final 7. Some were very high earners like Mohamed Salah, Harry Kane and David De Gea, who are all reportedly earning £200,000 a week, which still seems low when you think that Antoine Griezmann supposedly earns over £750,000 a week, and both Gareth Bale and Philippe Coutinho earn more than double the aforementioned trio. However, even though it seems low in comparison to the really top earners, we decided to cap it at around £100,000 a week for the purposes of this list, so it didn't get too silly. By the same token, we could have included some players like Kemar Roofe at Leeds, Timu Pukki at Norwich, and Jared Bowen at Hull, whose reported salaries seem low in relation to their talents, but they're not yet particularly high profile. With that in mind, we stuck to mostly mid-range players, where our honourable mentions include the likes of Toby Alderweireld, Alexandro, Nabil Fekir, Alan, Leroy Sané, Arit Sidoriz, Tyson, Yassin Brahimi, Alex Telles, Jack Butland, Joe Gomez, and Hakim Ziyech. So that's it for our honourable mentions, but there's still the small matter of our top spot. Marcus Rashford, £20,000 a week. There are talks of Manchester United offering Marcus Rashford a new deal worth £150,000 a week in order to fend off interest from Real Madrid in some British tabloid newspapers. We can't vouch for the truth of that, but certainly the Englishman's next deal will see him pick up an enormous wage hike. Some sources do claim that Rashford is on £75,000 a week, but I'm not sure how they come to that conclusion. The 21-year-old signed his current deal, reportedly worth £20,000 a week, in the summer of 2016, immediately after his impressive breakout half-season. Since Rashford hasn't signed a new deal since then, it seems unlikely that his salary would have jumped enormously, although he is said to have quite generous incentives in terms of appearance fees and goal bonuses. Rashford has really stepped up since being handed that central attacking role under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he's probably playing the best football of his career at the minute. Money ought to be the least of the youngster's concerns right now, but with his current contract set to expire in 2020, it might be of interest to Manchester United to get something sorted sooner rather than later. So that's it for Hour 7. Thanks for watching, feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications for more from us if you enjoyed the video, and you can now also follow us on Twitter for more ramblings from me. Our username is simply @HITC Sevens.